20 US states just sold out American sovereignty to a foreign power. There were no tanks, no troops, no declaration of war. Just signatures pressured behind closed doors, and a public that barely noticed. These agreements give the State of Israel direct access to your private digital data, the power to flag you as a threat for what you post, what you share in private messages, and whatever you discuss with Grok, Claude, or any other chatbot. And it doesn't stop there. The agreements give them the authority to push for your detention and re-education. This isn't theory, it's happening. While politicians smile for the cameras, 20 states have already surrendered. More are being coerced to sign up. Your data, your voice, your freedom. One of the largest transfers of power away from the American people is already underway, and the details are even more shocking than you think. Before we dive in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the People's Voice Locals community to join our incredible community, support the channel, and gain access to exclusive and uncensored content. This is the globalist endgame. The law-abiding are monitored. The dissenters are silenced. The public is stripped of one freedom after another, in the name of another country's safety and security. Yet somehow the predators keep hunting, the traffickers keep operating, and the normalization of paedophilia marches on, while the people who follow the rules are the ones losing their freedoms. Instead of monitoring pedos and protecting children, authorities are exposing those who use their private messages to criticize Israel. 19-year-old Austin Franco is an early victim of the agreement. In a private message, the college student wrote that my experiences with Jews have not been pleasant, both in person and online. Now he's all over Fox News, and they're demanding that his life is ruined. That's right, for what he said in a private message.
I'm glad we know this individual's name. I'm glad he was exposed.
Indeed, and the brothers are so generous and graceful, certainly more than I am, because I do want his life to be ruined. I agree with you. It is a permissive structure. And parents, what are your children putting out there? What are the people that have been in your household putting out there online and to their friends? What has been fomented? Because clearly there is a disconnect.
Welcome to 2026. A 19-year-old American man can't express his opinion and share his life experience in a private message without being attacked on cable news by bloodthirsty harridans. And he's not an isolated case. The entire country is in their crosshairs.
We will shine a light on you that, thanks to Google and SEO, will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything.
How has this happened? The US has almost totally lost its sovereignty. We're at a tipping point. And by the time the mask fully comes off, it will be too late.
It is suddenly obvious to everyone, both in this country and around the world, that the United States does not have sovereignty, which is another way of saying American leaders aren't really in charge of America. They can make some decisions. They can make noises and give speeches, but the big decisions, the ones that change the course of history, are not up to them.
Big decisions. Decisions like tossing aside the Constitution and handing Israel the power to spy on American citizens right here in America, through the private devices Americans paid for with their own hard-earned dollars.
Israel is turning every single Samsung phone into a surveillance device. Do you have a Samsung phone? You might want to pay attention. App Cloud pre-installed, impossible to delete. It knows your location. It knows your fingerprint. It knows your IP address. It knows every text, every call, and every search that you make. Did you know that? This isn't just data collection. This is blackmail material. Imagine the power that Israel now has to know who's criticizing them, to know who's organizing against them, to know who's a threat. They will use this against American citizens, against politicians, against businesses.
The US government are not doing anything to stop it. Why? Well, the Epstein files left a few clues. But also, the coup didn't happen overnight. Just ask Edward Snowden, who had to flee the US when he discovered secret data sharing agreements between the NSA and Israel. That involves handing over raw, unredacted data, sharing the personal details and locations of American citizens.
We were sharing unminimized information, raw signals intelligence that included information on the U.S. political figures, on judges, on officials across the spectrum, private industry, private businesses, private individuals. Their private records were being shared en masse with Israel.
If you're not masking your identity online, you're building your own digital cage, one keystroke at a time. The biggest weakness in cybersecurity has always been human beings. Somebody can be pressured. Someone can be compromised. Someone can make a mistake. Just look at the staff lists of the leading VPNs. They're absolutely packed with Israeli former cybersecurity officials. A VPN should be a shield, not another surveillance layer. Go to vp.net/TPV and take yourself off their digital battlefield. It's urgent, because even X isn't a safe haven anymore. Did you know that X has an R&D office in Tel Aviv? This means your data is being forwarded to Israeli military intelligence for analysis. The spying is not hypothetical, it's structural. Israel and the global elite have become increasingly bullish about their plans to hijack humanity, destroy sovereignty, and brute force a world government upon the world. They believe we've reached a point where anybody who takes a negative, critical, or confrontational attitude to Israel must be dealt with harshly.
I am living out the Zionist dream. I have been at Meta for almost 9 years. We banned content claiming Zionists run the world or control the media.
Apparently, Zionists don't run the world or control the media, but they can ban anybody who says they do. Stop and ask yourself, how does that work? Strangely enough, at the Jewish News Syndicate, they do admit that they're masters of the universe, who enjoy total control over the legacy media and the internet.
A majority of Gen Z have an unfavorable impression of Israel. And my friends, I think the reason for that is that we're losing the digital war. Okay, they're getting their information from TikTok and whatever it is, and we're losing that war. When you think about it, the masters of the universe are Jews. You know, we've got Altman and AI, we got Zuckerberg, we got Sergey Brin, we got the group across the board, Jan Combs, founded WhatsApp. It's us. And we have to figure out a way to win the digital battle. When we do that, the future of Israel will be stronger because a majority of all Americans will support Israel. We'll make that happen. We have to make it happen. Thank you.
It's not just the US. Infiltrated governments and social media organisations around the Western world are falling in line. The UK isn't stopping at digital ID. They're ploughing ahead with the next phase. The routine scanning of all private content on all personal devices. And for tech executives who refuse to grant them backdoor access, the threat isn't a fine, it's prison. The next generation of censorship won't look like censorship. You won't be banned, you simply won't be allowed access. No digital ID, no service, no verification, no participation. Want to continue participating in society when they decide you should be excluded? VP.net was designed for a future where privacy is becoming permissioned. Go to vp.net/TPV to learn about why users can't be unmasked by anyone ever. It's mathematically impossible. This is life and death. I'm not exaggerating. I'm going to tell you a story about that. But first, remember the exploding pages in Lebanon? Mossad booby-trapped 21,000 communication devices with explosives, sent them to Lebanon through shell companies, and detonated them remotely, killing dozens of children and injuring over 3,400 people. They did it over 2 consecutive days. On day 2, the explosive were timed to explode while Lebanese families were at the funerals of those killed the day before.
In an operation apparently mounted by Israeli intelligence against Hezbollah terrorists. According to reports, Israeli operatives planted tiny explosives inside a shipment of pagers that had been ordered by Hezbollah, turning them into tiny bombs that were triggered simultaneously across Lebanon.
Well, my first reaction when I heard exploding pagers, I was thinking this is like right out of a James Bond movie or something.
It's not from the pages of a James Bond novel. It's our reality. Former Mossad boss Yossi Cohen admits they have booby-trapped and spying devices in every country on Earth.
You mean booby-trapped equipment?
Not only booby-trapped.
And spying?
Manipulated equipment. All right?
In which countries are you talking about? In
all countries that you can imagine.
The surrender to this Israeli regime isn't just weak. It's worse than the French capitulation in World War II. Take a look at Ambassador Mike Huckabee, a man who couldn't be more enthusiastic about handing over influence, access and deference to a foreign power, while American sovereignty gets carved up state by state.
Without a doubt. But Minister, it is also the heritage of the United States. Without Israel, without the Jewish Foundation, there would not be an America. We owe our very existence to what happened in this land.
There was a moment overseas when I became convinced that somebody was trying to find me. Not debate me, not discredit me, find me. I was working on an investigation that connected powerful people to things they never wanted made public. Every day brought new documents, new sources, new evidence. And then the atmosphere changed. Sources started cancelling meetings at the last minute. Encrypted accounts went dark. One source told me, in a voice I'll never forget, they're asking questions about where they can find you. The story hadn't been published. My name wasn't attached to it. Yet somehow, they knew it existed. That's when the paranoia sets in. You start wondering whether every connection is exposing your location, every login, every message, every click. And the thing is, it's not paranoia. Because nobody has to follow you anymore. Your devices do it for them. Your phone is constantly announcing where you are. Your laptop is broadcasting clues. Your digital footprint stretches behind you like a trail of breadcrumbs. I remember sitting alone in a dark apartment long after midnight, refreshing documents, hearing every sound outside, wondering whether somebody had already connected the dots. Because if they found out where I lived before the story went live, everything would be over. That's why I switched everything over to VP.net. Not because I trusted a VPN company, because I didn't trust anybody. VP.net's trustless architecture meant there were no databases with my movements, no logs to subpoena, no records to seize, no hidden trail leading back to my door. Just mathematics. Days later, the story was published. It went viral and spread farther than I ever imagined. The people who wanted it to stop never got what they were looking for. And they never got me. And in a world where everything is tracked, monitored, recorded, and stored forever, sometimes anonymity isn't a convenience. Sometimes it's the difference between publishing the truth and becoming the story. Go to vp.net/TPV and take back control before it's too late.